Uh-oh. He's on his desktop. What is he doing now? Well, title probably says it all. Hello again, once again, everyone. Blah, I can't talk. So, after a 2 hour video yesterday, I'm back for some more. This one is, well, this is going to have some very high on the fly production value here. Spoiler, it's going to be awful. Um, but I am going to do kind of a season review wrap up for both of my teams, the Best Bud Club UC3s. Um, just kind of go into like what went right, what went wrong, um, and even have some lessons learned. So, uh, I guess without further ado, let's just jump into it. Actually, I should probably say, like, why the silly name? Like, there's a lot of silly names. So, why this? So, basically, the team I've been captaining is basically this is like just another iteration of BBC West. Um, BBC West was because we were on half the team was on West Coast. The original team that we put together for the summer IGL session consisted of myself, T-Bucks, Sub-Zero, and you got greened. Sub-Zero is out basically for the school year because, real life has a way of getting in young people's ways at that age. So he's just not available. And Green has obviously he graduated from the summer, to the tier 2 teams. Um, so we operated under West in the winter, and then Bucks moved to an eastern location. So suddenly I had to come up with a snappy name because, well, I guess West could have been funny, ironic. So I chose UC3, just kind of a weird homage to soccer/football clubs and their youth teams. Um, and the name actually isn't even good since I'm sort of up there hovering around Champ 3, as you do when you approach that level. So, the season. Well, you can already see, but let's scroll down a little bit. There's 7 games. And there's a lot to and further because when you stop at 7 games, that means you lost in the first round of the playoffs. But 7 games is good. One of the goals I set for the team is make the playoffs. Um, I felt, you know, fairly confident we could with the way that IGL had changed how, competition within tiers operated. The 30 to 40 team limit per division. You know, we're not looking at like NBA, NHL levels of teams making the playoffs, but people that do make the playoffs, the teams tend to be pretty good, and I just sort of liked our chances. So the roster. So we'll get into this. So this is my starting roster, and then I'm bringing the subs into play. Both Chubby and Reaper uh, are super subs. I will kind of get into that shortly as well. So the reason why basically this is my roster is like, these are kind of in part because Bucks Intense were my first 2 commits, and I was just trying to scrounge up some people to help cover. So slightly out of necessity, slightly as a reward for saying like, hey, thank you for doing this. Um, this will, I mean, we probably might jump into lesson learned. We'll figure out when I want to get to that. Um, and then I have Chubby on console. It's not a slide or anything, but having done that and learned everything and played over the phone um, for Discord, that's slightly rough. Um, and Reaper we added. I think I'll say about Reaper. That's kind of my one of my regrets is that I couldn't just get him in more often. Reapsy is a very good player, and I just wish I could get him to play more. So that's one of my one of my season regrets. So that's our roster. I do like to maintain a full roster because stuff comes up. Having said that, now because it's like I couldn't get Reapsy to play, maybe I would have been better off. I don't know. Well, I like having him, but now I don't know if actually going to the RLCS size of 4, just having one sub is better. It makes it a little easier for scheduling, but I've just learned a lot that sometimes it's best to just have the full roster. So let's get into our season stats. Um, Pretty sure I'm the one that played in all 6 games. I think Intense had 4. Bucks had 4 or 5. Chubby had 2. I think Reaper only played in once, or I should not games, but series. Only played in one series for the regular season. This does count playoffs. And the playoff lineup was myself, Bucks, and Chubby. Um, Not going too much into that, but that like kind of had a huge impact on the stats. It was a very putrid game. Um, so like we can just kind of see just like we will get into this. um, so the main guys, like I inexplicably led in score. Um, Shot 28%. Eventually ended up with the most saves. It's hard to compare against Reapsy, but like, best assists, almost 3/4 of a goal per game, over a save per game. Again, this counts playoffs. Kind of shot the most. Intense clocking in at second. Intense kind of in that support role. So like, that's more than perfectly fine. Um, and then Bucks also as the main. You can guys see here, it's like similar goal averages, like so we're pretty. That's a problem, but we're pretty similar. Again, like Intense is like in a super support role. And Chubby here, like almost 300 score per game, with like maybe 3 hours of warm up across all 3 matches, beforehand. So like clearly in a striker role. Um, Reapsy, same thing. Only played one series, so these totals can be off a little. But I mean, like in a way, we kind of, I'd say, performed admirably into our roles. So let's just kind of review how everything went. So this series. So something came up for Intense, like right before the match. In a vacuum, it's like one of the worst things you ever want to hear before a match. It's like, crap, I can't make it, and because it was scheduled. So like I'm like scrambling just to make sure. I don't know if Reapsy was on the roster yet, so I'm like frantically pinging Chubby. Chubby shows up like gives a confirmation 15 minutes before the match, and finally gets on like 5 minutes before. So we're going this no warm up. Um, yeah, these games are out of order. I know we lost the first game. Um, yeah, here it is. So we lost the first game. just this definitely looks hand reported. Maybe I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, yeah. So we lost the first game. Um, some ping issues, that sort of thing, and just like Chubby barely had any training time. Somebody has to score a goal. So obviously we won the series 3-1 because 4 games. Um, and like we just here's 7. Here's a 3-0 victory. Here's a tight 1-0 victory. Like we just kind of like settled in. This is actually the game 4. Um, this is weird. I don't know why this is out of order. Yeah, because I remember this being game 4. Chubby's internet just like went to hell on him. Um, we could have asked for a different server, but like just based on like how everything had gone, I'm just like, let's not even take the chance of just like ruining whatever flow we have, whatever rhythm. So yeah, but we won this game 4. Um, so it's like, well, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I haven't checked the brackets, but this was our eventual division number 1 seed. We lost in 4. So, so let's see. Here's a 4-0 loss. There's a 3-2 loss. There's a 3-1 win, and then a 2-1 loss. So this is like the theoretical team proper losing in 4. We kept it close, so that's always good. Jeez, just looking at these shot totals and um, yeah, but I mean like uh, who be that?
Hello.
Yeah,
Uh,
sup? I'm actually recording a video.
ooh,
It's not a big deal that you came in. I've had it's. I'm just doing a season review for my squad or squads.
ah,
Uh, yeah, and I probably should have made an announcement, but that's also like why I'm somewhat accessible, just in case anybody wants to come in and argue about how dumb I am or something like that.
no, I
But
just haven't played in 3 days, and I've been kind of bored.
okay, well, definitely when I'm done, I'll come. I'll come hit you up. Um,
Hmm.
so hopefully this won't take longer than an hour. But yeah, I'll come. I'll come play with you and cause you back problems.
All right.
All right,
Can you drag me into like one of the other channels?
sure, no problem. Let's put you with your real team, the Red Squad, Fennec Mains. One of our C3 GC players. That's what happens when you're in a club chat, but that's of my own design. Um, so yeah, like we have, we had a chance here to be a squad, but they just kind of beat us in 4. This is woofda, woofda, 20% shooting. So you know, like it's just they beat us. And this is this is probably why they're like the number 1 seed for a reason. So week 3, we get a good 5 games. Um, so the results. This is with the full squad proper. 1-0, 2-1. There's a 4-3 loss. There's a 3-2 win. This is a 2-1 loss. I hate how these games aren't in order. I mean, obviously we won. Um, what stood out for this series? I'm gonna have to peek ahead because I'm trying to. Okay. Whew. So this right? This is the series. Yeah. Okay, so this week 3 matchup. So we'll lower it down after ourselves. Just because it's like we felt we could hang versus a squad, and we just didn't. Um, I also spoiler alert for the twos team. I'm pretty sure my twos team lost this week too, and I was not thrilled with my gameplay. So I was just like really really down. And I believe, man, I want to say this might be a reverse sweep. Um, because I just felt really bad the entire game, and like by the middle of game 3, it's just like okay, it's just like the heck with it. Um, and like the stats sort of somewhat show like it's a close series. Again, that's a problem. But when we're taking 3.5 shots more than them, the shooting percent's going to go down a little. I mean, they're saving more. So, but yeah, it's just like this is kind of like this is why I'm sticking with this roster is because we just gutted it out, turned it around. We won game 4 and we won game 5. So I'm pretty sure we were swept. If not, we stole game 1, and it looked pretty bad after game 3. But yeah, this like was a I felt was a very good win. And it's like this is why I selected the team. So week 4, intense uh, couldn't make it. So Chubby stepped in. Um, uh, yeah, like you can look at the stat line, just like not much to really say. This is an actual sweep. This was just straight up a good game. You know, not much to read into here. This was a bad series for us. There was again just so much going on. Um, we were probably inside our own heads. Like they just beat the tar out of us in 4. I mean, look at this. Like the sweep last week. I mean, but look at these splits. Like, the fact that we stole a game somewhere. But yeah, like we just got beat here. And I got Reapsy in. Um, so we did it in 4. Um, just getting Reapsy in there, just get him into play, and like this game, yeah, this game we popped off. Here's a 5-0 game. So I mean, it's just like just getting Reaper in, just so that Reaper could play was huge. We this yeah We lost a close game in the series, but we won in four. So at this point, I'd finally reached a terrible, terrible conclusion that well, let's just be honest, I fucked up my team roster. Just kind of the starting roster. So how'd I screw it up for a team that went 4-2? Well, yeah, and especially when you kind of see like these splits. This is kind of actually the whole problem here. Um, and in a way, I feel like these are insane numbers. Um, so the problem is at the very least, Intense is support. Intense may also, no, I don't want you to install. Intense may also be someone who plays from the back. Bucks plays from the back, and I play from the back. We have no offense. There's a reason why this squad went 1-2 in regular season play. It's we just didn't have the offensive firepower. Um, so because of that, like it was really. I ended up valuing that week 3 just gutty win probably a little too much because like well we can do this, and the reality of it is that I kind of put this group of people not in the position to succeed. So we definitely could have used Chubby or even Reapsy and just get someone out of here. That's like and I it's probably like oh maybe you should actually get rid of Intense. It's like well like I don't actually think that that's the correct answer. Um, because again, Intense I don't think Intense necessarily plays from the back. I think Intense is a as I say for the rank a very good midfielder and like he's good at supporting and everything. Like you know he was there when he needed to be, and the offensive numbers may not necessarily bear it out, but I mean like he was there. So really the problem is, despite, hey, these two numbers right here, is that really only two of the original starters should have been on the field, and we should have been playing Chubby or Reapsy. So we had basically just more attacking options. Um, so with that, I just sort of announced, like, okay, so for the playoffs, I'm going to try and start um, myself Intense and Reapsy if I can. Um, just because I wanted attacking options. That sort of didn't happen, just the way the schedule lined up. Um, this pretty much says it all. This is a 8-9 matchup. This is, I mean, it is what it is. We just got beat in the playoffs. Not much to go on there. That's fairly evident. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Um, I can't get back, can I? Grumble, grumble, grumble. Um, okay, so back to here. Okay, so that was probably on me. Another part I just kind of mentioned is that we just couldn't get together enough. Um, so in a weird way, it's like, man, I can't believe we made the playoffs at 4-2. But it's kind of like that pickup team or whatever that can just play. So it's like we got the yeah, but we're I'm done talking about the playoffs. It is what it is. And as captain, like I gave the quick story behind that is Intense had you know a real life group put something together kind of late notice, but because it was a large group of people, it's very difficult to get everybody's schedules to line up. Yes, he committed to the match, but like I've always sort of preached that real life comes first before a silly game. and I gave him my approval to say, let's just go. Um, because I didn't. I felt I would have been a complete asshole that says, no, you play this in the grand scheme of the Rocket League universe, fairly meaningless game. So I will shoulder all the responsibility for that, but I don't regret it. Um, I just, if this was the RLRS plans, I would have said, you tell your friends, you know, this is what we're playing for. We're playing to hopefully at one point be on stream on Fridays. So yeah, like it is what it is. Um, but again, for as far as the season, like I'm happy for what we did. We finished. Maybe we finished as a 9 seed. It's 8, 9, whatever. Um, and the way the playoff match went, anyways. That was good. That was a tough matchup. I could help your player. Well, they're not price. And it's like, fuck that. Like, you know, like we may have had just as much talent, but I think like we were definitely an underdogs in that series. If we were at full power, um, you know, so like I don't know. I would have liked our chances against A Squad. I'm assuming they would have won, just going by chalk. It again would have been another tough matchup, but I felt we had a chance. Um, so yeah, I mean, again, going back to earlier seasons, um, you know, it took it. Maybe sometimes I'm just a yeah, but yeah, like Bucks, like we played together, but I don't think we played together as a team. That's partially on me, and that's just trying to get everything lined up. Yeah, and I basically need to enforce that. Um, so I'll, what the hell? I'll go into that right now. So the original summer team, played a lot, and like this is a team I'm captaining and basically a sub for. It's like, okay, I'll play. Substitute because Sub Zero's on the team. That'll get awkward. So I'm a substitute and the captain for the team, basically because I know I have experience running things. So it's like, yeah, I don't mind doing all this nonsense. Um, and then so like the original West team in the summer, like we played together a lot. If Sub was on, if all four of us were on, I'm like, hey, starting roster, go play. Like, I'm fine with being left out. Like, that's the goal, right? Um, yeah, and it sort of tailed off there, and like it just, I need to try and make it happen. Because as well, Bucks is in chat. As Bucks can attest, um, partially due to wonky schedule, and partially because it's like, pardon my language, but fuck that. Um, the fall session was a team that was essentially playing up. I know I've mentioned this before, but for the fall session, um, it just didn't necessarily. We couldn't put together basically a tier 3 team. Um, so it was like, well, we'll try and theoretically put the two best people, the best champs, together, and then try and have them carry. Um, which that in itself was actually an interesting season. We finished 0-6, but of course made the playoffs because there were less than 16 teams, or maybe 16 teams. I think there were 15 actually. Um, so, 14 maybe. I think we were 14 because we finished 13th. Um, we had like 2 5 game series in that, and I think one of them was without Griff or Squiddy. So we had just one of the two GCs on the field. Um, and I am just hard mentioning that because I have this queued up. This is what happened in the playoffs. That is some just putrid shot placement, but yeah, we won our playoff match in 5. Um, you know, with the self-deprecating person saying like getting the game-winning goal. I could have placed it a lot better, but hey, like Rocket League, this is. Um, so yeah, I that basically mentioning those 2 sessions was just a complete excuse to drag that clip out of the basement. Um, but yeah, back to playing time. There was no playing time in the fall session either, so I played a lot with the all the Grand Champ teams. It's just like I just need to play because we're kind of throwing away the season, um, and like in a way, we had like Bucks and Intense on the team, but like Intense was just there to fill out the roster. I think he only played like once or twice. Like Bucks sort of stepped in. It was just like I'm throwing away the season. By the way, Bucks Intense, can you just come along with me for the ride, just so that we have bodies? We're kind of throwing away the season, um, but we kind of like want to see what happens. Because like we think Griff and Squiddy are good enough to maybe try and carry us. Um, so yeah, so I end up playing a lot with the Grand Champs. I mean, I was playing with like Bucks. We lost Bucks late in the season, not for terrible reasons. Bucks just moved out to the East Coast, so we kind of went in that with super low expectations and everything. But yeah, this for the threes. This was just bad that we just couldn't get together. And well, I mean the threes team I'm playing on now, there won't be a problem with that. Because I'm playing with the theoretical team. I'll be playing with familiar people. Um, but again, we'll have to see how that all shakes out because nothing is ever set in stone. All I know is I'm going to be in tier 2, and that's by design on my part because if you've heard me mentioning my rank, I have purposely been trying to maintain C3, uh, so that when IGL looks at it, I get placed in, tier 2. Um, so yeah, but for the UC3's team, I'm such an idiot. This was a good season. Happy with how we played. The losses were kind of bad, but that's going to be an A season. We had a super super just euphoric win. Um, yeah. So I would I'd probably give this season like what, a B. Um, yeah. Nothing to really complain about. So, on the other hand, this is going to be hilarious. So, if you want to look at stability, here is the West slash UC3 team. This too started in the summer. Um, Reefsy, so Green and I are the starters. That has evolved. Originally, it was Sub-Zero and Green in the summer. Um, I started in the fall session when sub just, I say can't show up, but again, when you have school and a job, and are in high school, like, good luck with that shit. Um, so, like, I started subbing in, and then sub started as the substitute. I just dropped him because he disappeared off the face of the earth, and like I want that roster spot free. We just threw bucks on there. Um, and then after talking with Reepsy, like I basically added him for week 6 because our roster spot wasn't locked. Reepsy never played. I wish I thought of this genius idea earlier. Um, because when you're playing on in East with a person that's West Coast, that's always dicey. Um, we got 8 games, so we fished 5-1. We fished 5-1 and slotted into the 8 or 9 spot. That means this like division was probably like super top heavy, which results in like bad records at the bottom. Um, so yeah, obviously Reepsy never played. So here's kind of the splits. This is like not anything surprising. You know, um, Green super solid. Attacking midfielder probably. Um, and I play support defense, even though he like beats me on saves. Um, shooting percentage is probably high because it's twos. Um, but like yeah, you can kind of see like the splits sort of match up. So let's see. This was an exciting 5-game series. Um, we won it. Close games all around. Look at the shooting percentage. They were just really good. Melon Boys were really good with their shots. Here's a sweep. Um, wow, their score did not get reported. Interesting. Another sweep. So, as a threes player that's playing twos, I know I'm like slower, but they're seeing. I complained about this in my IGL video. I have no proof of it. It's just more or less a feel. It feels like teams just sometimes get placed incorrectly. Again, like I don't know like how much leeway IGL grants. But like not trying to dunk on my opponent here, but I mean like this is a wild split. Like and like it feels like either they just made champ 1 or they just got placed incorrectly. I just want to call that out. I mean, we have 2 sweeps back to back. Another good 5-game series. Again, really, really close series. These guys, these guys gave us a fight. Okay, yeah, the 1, 2, 3, 4. We lost in 5. We lost this in 5. Um, I was, I had this. I was just, I don't know. I just not. I came out of this just felt not really playing well. It was just weird in the warm ups and all that, and just like we played this before the threes match. I mentioned this, in earlier in the threes review. This, like, just basically because all this, I like went into some weird slump. And it was really hard to dig out of. Um, Probably because I felt like we had a chance to win this. Um, but like, I mean, again, everything's so close. So we got beaten five by a good team. Um, there's a game that kind of got away from us. I think you know, so like, I don't know. Oh, well, we only played 5 games. Um, huh, I had totally forgotten about this. Scheduling troubles. We're sitting at 4-1. I'm gonna jump into our Discord real quick. Um, yeah, it's amazing. We finished 5-1 the season. We got eighth. So again, I just think it just speaks a lot. It speaks one to the quality of like the top part of the top half of the league. Just like how good and we're spread out. And unfortunately, that means we just beat up on a lot of people. The collective division, the top really hammered the bottom. Um, yeah. So this is an 8-9 matchup, and this is a sweep. Like, there's not much to say here. I think our opponents may have started slow, perhaps, but I mean they were leading. They were leading in game three. Um, but we responded. So they could have been 4-2. But I mean, like, it's still an 8 versus 9 seed, and I feel that I had forgotten that we were 5-1. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would have approached this game any differently. It's like we have to beat our opponents. So like it doesn't it, the seeds are fun for discussion, but in the end we have to go out and beat them. Um, Yeah, and then there's this. This is a 4 series loss. This happened 2 days ago. Again, never you this just says everything. Um, we won game one, um, but it like I don't know. It just kind of fell apart for us. Like we just it's a combination of we weren't playing good and our opponents were playing better, and they just beat us. Um, so yeah, but hey, at least I can then at least show this now too, right? Oh, was that not big enough? Okay. Here, let's watch it from Green's perspective. Let's uh let's watch it from my perspective. Oh yeah, it looks like I totally know what I'm doing here. Spoilers, I don't. And it has a ton of views because I submitted for play of the week. That's basically my highlight from the series. That's my only goal too. So yeah. So then, what can I say about the season? 5-1 is very reminiscent of old school unquote IGL, where it's just like you get this 5-1 finish. It's just like, man, like I'm just like mired in the middle of the playoff seeds. Um, Again, I just think it speaks a lot about just RNG and the randomness and everything, and that's just we had a lot of good teams in our division. Um, but 5-1, I guess 4-1, 4-1 in the regular season, bonus win because you know our opponents. I'm not criticizing for anything. They had like maybe one or two very narrow windows, and one they just like missed, and it's like I don't want to go into the scheduling rant, but like you know they just couldn't hit it, and like I was as patient as possible. Um, but like ultimately, it's just like, well, I have to like report this forfeit, and I when you have real life issues going on, that's obviously more important than some dumb video game, as I've said before. So like I feel for my week 6 opponents. Um, you know, like shit happens. I actually wish we could have played the match. I'm of the belief that just getting a match result is better than just a boring 3-0 forfeit. Um, but yeah. Um, so I would think that this was a good season. There's not much like a lot in a lesson like lessons learned for this squad because it's just kind of continuous. Like when Green's on, I will, as long as he's not like wrapped up with his threes teams, like I do make a conscious effort to do my best to play with him. Partially because he's West Coast, partially because I have a Rocket League problem. Um, but like I that being said, like um I've gotten better in twos. Like I benched myself for sub in the summer. Probably too little, too late. I think the West summer team actually twos team actually missed the playoffs because I was just late on my benching. Um, and then we got stronger. So like and this is like despite like my teammate Green here like you know having a newborn like so like we don't play as often as we should. So again, like the pickup rule kind of applies, pickup team rule. Um, but it's like it's hard to complain about anything. Like we did, we did what we need to do, and we played pretty solidly for the season. Um, so the self reflection time. What am I doing wrong? So we got sidetracked at the threes, but like we need to figure out. It's probably also as a club as a whole. Um, we just need more team activities. We need to try and fit them in. Um, and I know suddenly it like becomes a chore because you're doing it for the 12th tier of Rocket League. Um, but like I enjoy kind of doing this. Like I enjoy having the competitive fire back. Like and now I'm getting to that point where it's like I can see a definitive, I don't say finish line, but a definitive goal. That being Grand Champ, which I'd set for myself about a year ago, basically when I switched to PC. I don't know if I can get it in that time. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Um, and of course, I'm defining actually attaining Grand Champ on my own and maintaining it, not what happens with everyone every time they get to a new rank is they pretty much got carried. You know, your mileage may vary or whatever, but I could definitely say that because I've been chasing members in my club. Um, I've been chasing Dilly, I've been chasing Sub Zero. I've been like chasing Green. I've been chasing Bucks. Um, you know, um, you know, and some people now I'm sort of trying to getting on the level with. So I want to see how high I can go. How high can you go? Um, but yeah, one of the goals is just to try and get people together so we can play more. Trying to have the schedules line up. Um, because I think like the theoretical like top team in the club um, does actually have a chance to be like something special. I don't know if that means it could mean day two of the RLRS qualifier tournament. Um, you know, and maybe some teams, some configuration of teammates here within the club can might be able to do that. Um, I'm not even saying like if Sunless Khan can get carried there, but I mean like there's you know there's a chance, and maybe it never happens, but sometimes just setting the wild crazy goal helps. Um, so like that's funny enough, I'm probably only going to be running the twos team, um, but I think like we're starting to re-coordinate our efforts just kind of after everything fell off. So yeah, we're going to be we're going to be trying to do gooder at that. Um, and also just honing my evaluation skills. Um, I think the minus against me is I just really misfired on the team, on the roster. Um, you know, as someone who benched themselves, like I should, you would think I would have enough, you know, big picture thinking there, and I misfired on the threes team. Like again, we finished 4-2 in the season. It's great, but I just misfired on the roster. And yeah, so going forward, I would like to figure out how I can fix that. Um, yeah. Um, so I guess like also, um, what else is coming? So looking to the future, probably as a result, I'm going to be playing in tier two, so I've got to get good. Um, I am going to be playing in ones for IGL. Um, because I hate myself, but actually just because I think that'll do me some good. It'll kind of force me to play ones and kind of try and shore up that glaring hole in my game. Um, and then just kind of continue to like help manage, help run things. Try and actually provide more, since theoretically I'm going to be taking a back seat in threes, because I'll be a sub. Um, Again, theoretically, just taking, just doing a little bit more support actions, that sort of thing. And I guess before I wrap this up, I guess I should also just really, uh, we'll jump in. The secret unannounced goals I had. Um, Trying to get this starting roster up into higher ranks. I think that failed, unfortunately, because we didn't play together. Because if Bucks, you were still watching, I was kind of hoping to get you up, high champ two, get you sniffing champ three. Same thing with intense. I just felt like, that would not only open up more opportunities for my fellow teammates, but also for the club, because then we, theoretically have more tier two teams. Um, I did get to try out Reapsy, and I love what I see out of him. He's a fantastic twos player. and like we're gonna have some more twos teams, so that's exciting. Um, I knew Chubby was always solid, and I'm glad I got to play him. So really, like the secret goal is just trying to get some people up to sniff Champ 3. Unfortunately, that person, the ranking 1, 2, 3, the person that was ranked 3 on that list was me, who was only there, and that just may be because I have a bad Rocket League habit. Um, the secret goal was for this to be the starting roster and just solidify it, um, which is not a dig on Sub-Zero. Um, I'm just glad that it worked out this way. Um, I didn't have a reliable substitute. Um, Nothing against Bucks. Um, I'm glad Bucks stepped up, volunteered, and said, "Hey, I will at least fill that." I'll get to that comment in a second, Bucks. Actually, I want to. Aside from all this, I actually want to give a shout out to Bucks. Um, just alone for being willing to at least step into the roster spot and be there. I said I'd probably only use you in an emergency, and being agreeable to that, like not only like Green, myself, and Bucks again. We go back to the original West team, but we're not twos players. We're some good threes players. I mean, for where we're at, we play well together as a team. We still play really well together as a team. Um, so the fact that Bucks just said, "Yeah, I'll fill in that roster spot," I'm giving huge shout outs for that because it was amazing. Um, and as for Bucks comments, Bucks, who has his mic muted, that's probably too much of an inside joke, especially since chat will not show up on the VODs or on the YouTube VODs. Impossible if only play when I'm drinking. LOL. You better not be drinking, because that's loads of irony. I'll take it more serious if I play this coming season. Yeah, and like this is the part I feel bad about. I really want to see how high they can go, and I feel really bad for redlining myself to try and get to Champ 3. Um, because the problem is we don't. It lined up perfectly to where we really didn't need much in the way of leadership. Um, like I could sort of lean on Green. Um, when he was like on the West Threes team. Yeah, yeah. Just going back to the twos team, Buck said I knew I wasn't going to play in the twos teams, but Uni needed a sub. Yeah. Oh, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to go to that, but I'm glad that you were there for the emergency fill-in. Um, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, yeah. For the tier 3, the champ 1, champs 2s, like we kind of actually have like now a hole there, and we kind of have like some leadership holes. See, I say leadership, so just like captaincies. Um, because that's kind of like why I made my captain tutorial video, was to help with that. Because it's really not all that difficult. You're just kind of like the front man for the squad. So again, maybe if we get enough, hopefully we'll get enough interest for C1, C2 team again. Because like I would hate to see that go the way of the dodo. Um, because also like again going back to the fall session, I know like being a fish out of water and playing up on a team is just, even if you're a sub, is just, sometimes it's just really hard to get the play in. But I have no problem risking my rank for the most part on my main. But yeah, hopefully we can do something about that tier 3 hole. Um, at the very least, have a team there. Um, yeah, so that's kind of that's probably just about it. We're approaching the hour mark on this, and I've only shown like some clips. I mean, maybe I should go find something else, something interesting. Um, like what? What's interesting? Like, is this? What is this? Oh, yeah, I know what I was doing there. I guess this is like back-to-back dunks. Oh, it's a flick. I never run a back-to-back dunk somewhere. I don't know where they're at. Here I am, filling time with random stuff. Well, we could at least show this. This is from last night. Just watch Unforgiven. Gets a 2-for-1. Oh, this is my back. Has to be the back-to-back dunks, right? Yeah, into that. Some high quality production here. Yeah, this I know is from a private match. Yeah, that's my tactical whiff. Oh, I got that over Dilly. That's why. Some real behind the scenes, nonsense happening here. Um, to fill time, even though there's no need to. Ah, so all that said, this has been the UC3 Winter IGL 2020 season in review. Um, who knows what's going to happen come the spring? Just because we're obviously shaking things up. But I'm excited at what we got going on. I'm excited what we got going for the club going on behind the scenes. Eventually, maybe we'll actually start going through on it so we can start announcing that shit. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to think if I have like anything else. Probably not. For the UC3 members watching now or watching on the VOD, if you have any questions or think I'm, foul things up even more, you can shoot me a DM. Like, I'm not, well, you'll get the usual, flack from me just because, I probably have an image to maintain or something like that, even though it's a DM. But, I'm always open to suggestions, and that sort of thing. But yeah, so now I am done. So thank you all for watching. I hope if club members got, or if anyone, they got something out of this. I hope hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully we learned something from this. Self-reflection on some things is definitely a good thing. So thank you for watching, and have a good day, night, evening, wherever you're at.